1, 2, 3.
I'm avoidant.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's go.
And we are back with another episode, with a dope episode of the Black and Abundant podcast, the number one podcast out here talking about black love and black wealth, internal and external wealth. And we are your hosts, your favorite couple, your favorite black couple out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I am Jamal Jackson, aka J-Sco, and I have my best friend, my life partner, my girlfriend, my boo, my bae, my everything, Nia Jackson, aka Nia Love, once again.
Up?
What it is, baby? How you feeling?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be alive, happy to be here, happy to be laying no bricks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was inspired to wear my Nike headband down today because I just gotta. Sometimes I just want to remind y'all niggas, man. Look, sometimes in life you just gotta do it. You feel me? Just gotta do it.
If you have not recognized that this is who Jamal is by now,
Yeah,
like 24/7,
all day, every day.
he doesn't turn it off.
Yeah.
If y'all were ever wondering, he does not turn it off.
Yeah. All right, so welcome back, family. Kick your shoes off. I said it right that time. Hey, kick your shoes off. You know, get your tea. What we drinking on today?
Butterfly pea.
It's
the blue one that changes colors when you put lemon juice in it.
Yeah. Hey, Black and Abundant merch. Get your tea. Get your tea cups, your coffee cups. And once again, Black and Abundant merch is on the way. Let me just say this, y'all. Y'all probably wondering what the sock of the day is.
Oh my God.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready for what it is? I am about to tell you. It ain't no socks this time. Here's why. I cannot get too comfortable with saying Black and Abundant socks are on the way. Black and Abundant socks are on the way. So I've decided to discontinue the socks of the episode because moving forward, it needs to be Black and Abundant socks. So to put some necessary pressure on myself, and y'all going to hold me accountable to my word, that be expecting it very soon, that real talk Black and Abundant socks are on the way, and merch, you feel me? We in talks right now, so it will be out soon. Yep. All right. Talk, baby. What's good? What's on your mind?
All right. Ready to dive into the episode?
Let's dive into it.
Talk about the topic of the day. So, Jamal made it very clear that he wants the audience to supply all of our topics from here on out, even if that means shooting down my great ideas. But it's fine. So this topic comes from the audience member, but it's like closely related to what I wanted to talk about anyway, because, you know, the woman's always right. But got the topic from someone from online, from my story. What's up?
May I interrupt before? I need to interrupt.
Okay.
Hey, y'all, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge my beautiful black natural wife. You know what I'm saying? Y'all,
have y'all noticed that every time I get onto him, he compliments me? Do you see how like that is deflecting?
Hey, positive deflection. Positive deflection. But hey, look, she just looks so good. You so good, beautiful, natural. Love them eyebrows. That skin. That hair popping. Looking good and natural. You ain't got nothing in it too, right?
Sidebar, y'all saw my hair last week. Remember I went to the hair salon. This is a week later. I haven't done anything to it. I haven't put anything in it. But I actually kind of like it like this. It's very like wild.
I love it.
I appreciate it.
I love it. You know, but anyway, continue, baby. Topic.
Came from Instagram, and once again, I forgot to read your name before we got on here. It's fine. It's on the screen. But the question said something about what the hell did he say? He said something about, okay, how do you start from zero and become successful? Or do you remember the exact words that he used? Start from zero and then build success or something?
I don't know, but maybe we need to take a moment to go read the question. Do a quick pause.
All of the devices are like whatever. It says it right here. We got the concept. Starting from zero and going to success. What does that even look like? Now, when we talked about this, we were pretty much asking the question of, okay, what does it mean to start from zero? And what does it mean to be successful? Like, what we have to have a point A. We have to be clear on what point A to Z look like, right? If we were to tell you guys about the story, or about the journey. So what we're going to do this episode is we're pretty much going to be given our own definitions of what we feel is zero and what we feel success are. And then the journey to getting from point A to point B, right? So yeah, let's dive into it.
All right.
Start, baby.
You had another point attached to that too, right?
Yes, but it'll come.
Okay. All right. So the conversation, how do you start from zero and become successful?
Yep. I have a question for you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you know that you need to heal, but maybe you just don't know where to begin? Or maybe you see that your trauma is holding you back and slowly destroying your relationships. Maybe you don't even understand what you're feeling, but you know that you're tired of going through the same problems. If that resonates with you, I can tell you why you're probably feeling that way. It's because you don't know how to control your fucking emotions. And no, I don't mean suppressing them. I mean processing them, addressing them, and reflecting on them so that you can have better discernment and higher intuition. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to teach you in my How to Control Your Fucking Emotions masterclass. Not even 10 years ago, I overdosed. I had depression, generalized anxiety disorder, I was in an abusive relationship, I was self-harming, and I was having anxiety attacks almost every day. Fast forward to today, I'm emotionally stable, extremely confident, happily married, and loving life. I'm a completely different person. But how did I do it? I committed to increasing my emotional intelligence through study and consistent practice. I've already sorted through all of the bad advice online and trial and errored my way to emotional freedom so that you don't have to. I'm giving you a decade worth of expert level information on emotional intelligence in a 2-hour beginner friendly class. This is honestly information we all should have been taught as kids, but generational curses, am I right? So do your kids a favor and break the cycle now. I'm going to teach you everything that I know. And honestly, I could charge you at least 5 bands for it. But it's only $97. Oh, and the first 100 orders are 50% off. So if I were you, I would hurry up and visit www.nialovecoach.com/emotions or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the episode. But first, don't forget to take that and apply it.
How do you start from zero? You got to start somewhere. What is zero?
That's what I was just saying.
What is zero?
Please tell a story about what your zero looks like to you.
Comments below. What is zero to you? Was there a moment in time where you knew for yourself, like, damn, I'm starting all over again? Whether that can be a failed venture, divorce, it can be whatever. What is loss? Zero. What does that look like to y'all? Please comment below. All right, so what is zero, baby?
I literally asked you that like 3 times.
Okay, Jamal, J-Sco, what is zero? Starting from zero is, to me, when you have been on the pursuit of something, you had a goal in mind, and you put all your thoughts, your efforts, your energy, your intention, and you put your love, your time into something, and then it came to a complete stop. And basically everything that you work for and put into it, I'm not going to necessarily, I could say went down the drain, but you had to accept within yourself and accept the realization that this would no longer be a thing, and I had to scratch this path and start over.
Okay.
So that is what starting from zero is to me. You want to go into examples, or you want to share your
tell
thoughts?
us of a time. This is story time, right?
Gotcha.
So tell us of a time where you hit zero.
Gotcha. I just want to say as well, too, if you haven't experienced starting from zero, in my opinion, you got some more life. There's many more life experiences that is waiting for you, level up experiences. So, because I think real growth and a lot of growth opportunities are at zero. You learn more about yourself. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm very familiar with starting from zero. Everybody's zero is subjective, right? And it's your personal experience. But for me, for example, this is not my first relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My relationship prior to my amazing life and relationship now, I was involved with my ex for how many years? 5, 6.
You asking me? I went in the relationship.
I think 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5. So like a 6-year relationship, starting from zero. That was a flop. I'm not gonna say that was a flop, but it ended. I learned what I need to learn from it, and I moved on with that. And Patreon episode, we can talk about all that stuff. But what else? This is not my first business venture. I was in the business for like 4 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Built a business, made a decision to made the decision to pivot and go a different direction. Business and venture. This is like my 4th, 5th business.
Yeah.
Like real talk. Real. Y'all see us today. Oh, we popping it, but y'all didn't see us when we was at the first venture.
Or the second.
Or the second.
Or the third.
Or the third.
Or the fourth.
You know what I'm saying? What else is zero? What else?
I don't know if
Been
you
to
wanna
jail
share it.
before.
Oh, you went to
You know
jail?
what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
got
you
arrested
did.
before, and it was a situation where, and shout out to my pops. He told me, "Hey, if you ever go to jail, don't call me." I know that's funny, but as on some real man-to-man stuff, like that was the best thing that he could have said for me, because he was like, "Bro, if you put yourself in that situation, you as a man, you made your own grown man decision. You got to figure that shit out and get it and get out of yourself." And I did. I worked my ass off, got out the situation, and did what I had to do. But that was that was a humbling experience for me. Hey, there was times where I was homeless. I didn't have no place to stay. I was sleeping in buildings. You know what I'm saying? That's a form of starting from zero for me. What else? It can go on and on for starting from zero, but one thing that was consistent, and I can keep going on, but one thing that has been consistent for me, and this is my life core principle and commitment that I made to myself personally, is that no matter what life throws at me, I promise on my life I will never give up. I would never stop showing up. I would never stop going in, because that's the best thing that I can owe and do for myself.
Yep.
It's life. Who are you to expect and think that everything is just going to go out planned? Who want to follow somebody when your path was just like this,
Easy.
like this? Y'all can't relate to me, and I think it's a great opportunity to just expose more of our journeys with each other. Because, like, look, I'm gonna be the first to say I'm not perfect. I'm the most human being person that you'll ever meet. But here's the thing: I don't condone bullshit. Like, I just keep it real with self, and I'm dedicating my life to living a life of just showing up and being an example, because the example is what you have. That's your word is what you have. How you show up is what you have. And what I've been doing, I just said, hey, look, this is what it is. I don't care how many times I start over. I'm going to keep going. But one thing that I want to encourage everybody to make sure that you do when you're at zero, ask yourself, this is an opportunity for you to go in and ask yourself, hey, what have you learned about this experience? Because you made a series of decisions that led to you having to start to zero. What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about that situation and experience? Are you keeping it really 100 with yourself? And then just keep it pushing and do better.
Yeah.
And also, it's a great opportunity for you to change your relationship with failure, because the key to success is through failure. If you're learning from these experiences, there's a quote that says the only way to get to the M's, you got to go through the L to get to the M's. So it's a series of stacked up L's, and when you look at me, I am the embodiment of L's. I learn. That's why I can speak. Everything that all my experiences is in me, not on me. Because I have accumulation of experiences just built up on me, but it's because I was brave enough to put myself through the fire, because I understand that, like, it's the fire that make you who you are and build you and equip you for where it is you're trying to go for yourself. So I'm like, come with the shit.
Yeah.
So started from zero, man. That's what it looks like for me. What about you, baby? What's up?
I like what you said about how starting from zero is basically how, when you're going in one direction and you're focused on one thing, and then all of a sudden there's just like a hard stop or like a hard pivot, a hard shift, the rug's pulled underneath your feet. I have a very, very clear idea of what zero was for me, and I refer to it all the time as like my greatest rock bottom. And I've had several rock bottoms in my life, but I'll say the most recent rock bottom was in 2020 when we broke up. Because for those who don't know our story, Jamal and I met in 2019 and we were dating for about a year. And then, of course, the pandemic hit and I was working my engineering job. I had just got out of college in 2019 too. So I was working my very first big girl job, making a good engineering salary. And then basically my boss called me in for my 1-year review and he was like, "It seems like you hate it here." And I was like, "I do." So we decided to part ways, but it was the middle of the pandemic. So I was jobless and on the job hunt in the middle of a, job crisis. So my lease was up during that time as well. I was living in an apartment in Birmingham and Jamal was staying in Tuscaloosa, which is about an hour apart for those who don't know Alabama. But when my lease was up, Jamal said, "Okay, hey, you can move in with me. We can stay together for a minute and while, you figure things out." So moved in with him. And then like a month later, he dumped me. So
that was wild. That was a wild time.
I know, right? He dumped me. So I had to move back to Birmingham and live with my mother. and sleep on her couch in her 1-bedroom apartment. And I didn't have a job again. And also we were in a network marketing business. That's how we met. That was our first business venture. But right around the time, like my entire team outside of like one person quit. And then Jamal quit. And then I was like, do I even want to, I was already having like some back and forth with myself about if this was something that I wanted to do as well. So then I quit. So when I tell you, it was like literally all of the plans and everything that I was working on at that time in my life, whether that be my relationship, my business, my job, even my mental health. Like I was depressed as hell at the time. Like everything just flatlined, and I had to figure out what the next step was going to be. But even as awful as all of that sounds, because it was very shitty, it was terrible. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, and I hope I never have to go through something like that again. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. And I want to communicate to you guys that rock bottom is a gift. Mm-hmm. Rock bottom is a blessing. For you to have the opportunity to even get a second chance to start over at zero, where everything is taken away from you and you have a new beginning, that is a blessing. And the worst thing that you can do is see it as a curse and operate as if it is a curse. I know too many people that hit rock bottom and then give up. Like they use that as a reason or an excuse to say that they're not worthy of what they were actually going after, or to feel like, oh, it's not worth it. It's not going to work. I'm never going to try it again. Like that's the worst thing that you can do. When you're starting over from zero, it is an opportunity for you to try something different with the lessons that you've learned. So going back and reevaluating, okay, what is this experience teaching me? Why was this taken away from me? Even if you don't have necessarily hindsight, because God works in mysterious ways, you know, and sometimes you can't see the bigger picture. But even if you can't see the bigger picture in the moment, you can always look at a situation and recognize, this is what I could have done better. This is what, these are better. These are different decisions that I could have made. This is how it could have been, so that I can apply it moving forward. Right. But yeah, that's my rock bottom. What you got to say?
Damn. Remember we was in this little 4x4 box room?
We shared a room.
Shared this room, man.
In a house with
four or five, six other dudes. Five dudes.
No, it was 3. It was 3 others and you.
And it was another at one point.
Yeah, but he moved out.
Yeah.
The point is, we was in a house full of niggas. And me and Jamal and I were in a room, and I had to share a bathroom with 3 men, and it was a tiny bath. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was absolutely horrible.
But yeah, I want to say this to y'all. Hey, look, what I learned in my journey is like, hey, rock bottom sucks when it hurts worse when you don't have a sense of direction for yourself. Mm-hmm. It sucks when you don't know who you are, when you don't have a sense of, okay, why you do what you do and where you're going, and just you don't have a sense of clarity. Mm-hmm. That's when it sucks. Because here's the thing, for anybody who's making a decision to create their reality, you have to understand that you have to go through a series of unprogramming your mind. Unprogramming from the chains and limitations that has been placed upon you. There are certain limitations, whether you realize it or not, and it's important for you to know whether you realize this or not. The consequences are not excused from you. But that's why it's important for you to, as you're going through this journey, you got to ask yourself, hey, what did I learn from this experience? Not for the sake of just so whatever, but you have to ask yourself so you can increase your awareness. Mm-hmm. The more awareness that you have, the more power that you have that you can use to your benefit. And I realize is that you got to learn how to play this game. If you want to beat this game of life, win this game of life, you got to learn how to play the game. And the way that you learn how to play the game is that you learn through your experience and actually go out here and execute and try to do something. But if you're just going to live a consumer lifestyle, it's consumer life where you just consume, and just on the sideline, just watching, you ain't really learning for real. You just an observer. And you have to ask yourself, are you going to be an observer or a creator in this life? And I made a decision a long time ago. We're going to be creators. But here's the thing. I'm not excused from, and we're not excused from the consequences from our decision. Because like I said, we wasn't taught the game. We wasn't taught the blueprint of how to navigate this shit. A lot of this stuff when it comes to this relationships, my mom and dad didn't teach me how to be successful in relationships.
I ain't never seen a successful relationship outside of ours.
What has majority of our relationship been? Shooting shots. and you miss 100% of the shots that you don't make. And then after a while, we just got more accurate. Now we Steph Curry with our shit now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and don't judge my form. I don't play ball, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, you're going to be Steph Curry with the decisions and the moves that you make because you have that clarity and awareness about your life.
This is more than credit repair. This is a movement. For too long, you've been told no, denied, overlooked, held back. But what if I told you that ends today? At J-Scope Capital, we don't just fix credit. We shift mindsets. We break cycles. We create new beginnings. This isn't just about a credit score. This is about your future, your family, your freedom. Because real wealth starts in the mind before it ever reaches the bank account. That's why we educate. That's why we empower. Every signature on a contract, every approval, every new key handed over, it starts with a decision. The decision to take back control. Your past mistakes, they don't define you. Your future is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to claim it? This isn't just about credit. It's about community. It's about shifting your entire reality. It's about stepping into your power. And we don't just talk about it. We show up, we educate, we execute. Because when one of us wins, we all win. You deserve this. Your future self is waiting for you to make the move. Start today. Visit start.jscocapital.com. No more waiting, no more hoping. It starts now. J-Scope Capital. This is a movement. Be a part of it.
Ourselves in a place where we have to uproot all of the fears that have been controlling our life for so long, all of the insecurities that have been controlling our lives for so long. That is a process. That's work within itself. Like, a lot of people are so used to the physical work, like just grind, like get into grind mode and just focus on your business, get out and make those sales and all those things. Like, yes, those things are important and there are seasons for that. However, I recognize that during those seasons where we were just grinding, we weren't having the level of success that we truly desired. We did not have the freedom that we truly desired, because even though we were putting in the work, mentally, we still weren't ready. And that's the problem. Like, if you really want to go from zero to freedom, focus less on what you can physically do to get you there and focus more on what you can mentally, spiritually, and emotionally do to get you there. What do you have to let go of? What fears do you have to lean into? What discomfort do you have to lean into in order to get to that freedom, that life that you desire?
Yeah, straight up. And for my Christian folks out there, y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all know this verse and y'all can relate to this. But there is a verse that says, be still and know that I am God. Right? And in your moments of rock bottoms, that is the perfect opportunity for you to maximize, to be still, meaning sit your ass down and get clarity. Mm-hmm. You out here just running, you know what I'm saying, with no clarity on your life, no direction. You wonder why you out here trying to F around with all these women, chasing these temporary satisfaction, instant gratification. Mm-hmm. You buying all this material shit just so you can get a dopamine temporary high to fulfill this desire, because you lacking wholeness within yourself because you just running. Mm-hmm. But no, the answer is just sit down, man, get clarity on your stuff and what you want. And when I say be still and know that I'm God, y'all don't even understand and know that you don't even know that you God of your own reality. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's when the game changed me. Everything changed for me when I finally accepted and understood that I'm actually God of my own reality. There's the big guy, big guy, but of your own reality, you're a God, meaning that you are 100% responsible for your situation, whether you realize it or not. So that means that you have power to create, and you don't even know that you have the ability to create because you're fighting for your limitations by the words that you say out of your mouth. I listen to people talk all the time. It's going to lead into the random wisdom, but just keep that in mind, family. Just remember that throughout this process, you are born to create. So I'm telling you, you're a God of your own reality. You're born to create. Your responsibility is to figure out what's on your plate that's lying to you, that's going against the belief that you are a creator. That's where the real work goes right there. anything that goes against that ideology is a weapon against your mind.
And adding on to that, understand that freedom, there was something that I wanted to say involving creativity. I'm trying to remember. Okay. The moment that you become a slave to something, your freedom is stripped from you. For example, we are slaves to a lot of things in our everyday life. You're a slave to that job. You're a slave to your relationship. You're a slave to money.
You're a slave to food.
Yep, slave to food. And when you are a slave to something, you are taking your own freedom away. For example, the topic that I wanted to talk about today had to do with what we are doing in our business right now and the moves that we are making to put ourselves in a certain position. But we had some really great revelations over the past couple of weeks of how we want to operate in our business endeavors and how we want to operate around money. Now, I'm going to be honest, you guys, there has been a long period of my life, and I'm still fighting to uproot this every day because it's part of the freedom, right? Where money has had such an important value and power over myself and my life and the way that I think. I recognize that money consumes a lot of my thoughts and a lot of my decisions. Why do I do certain things or why don't I do certain things? I have a tendency to tell myself no or not even give myself the opportunity to think creatively and expand my mind because I'm thinking about the restraints that I have around money. So lately I've been thinking, okay, now that I've got my masterclass out there, how can I bring in more money? And I recognize as I was putting my energy towards that, money was actually flowing away from me. As in, like, the money, it wasn't coming in how I was expecting it to with the amount of physical work that I was putting behind it. So I had to stop and ask myself, why do I feel like I'm having a hard time attracting this right now? What's really fighting against me right now? And I recognize it came down to principle and foundation. When you lean away from what's most important to you, what's most valuable, your principles and your foundation, that's when you stop your attraction. So for example, I recognize for me that my value, freedom to me, is being able to connect with others, being able to create without the expectation of trying to produce something, to be able to touch lives without expecting anything in return. So when I turn away from that fundamental principle, that's when I become trapped again. That's when I lose my freedom. That's when I become imprisoned again. So what I had to do and what we're doing right now is we're reframing our lives to free ourselves from the things that we quote unquote have to do for a business to run, to shifting towards all of our time being towards the things that we desire to do, which means impacting lives and creating all day. And that is freedom. So I say that to say, what in your life are you putting so much energy and effort towards that's not even necessarily aligning with what you want? Like, you may put all of your time and energy towards that job because you want to make money, but you're in that constant loop of being a slave to money at the end of the day. So you have to sit still and recognize what matters most to you. What was I sent here to do? What do I feel? Not even necessarily purpose, because I feel like some people might take that the wrong way, or they get too caught up in what their life's purpose is. But what do you feel pulled to do? Do you even know what you really want? Have you even sat still long enough to figure out what you want or what you're pulled towards?
No, a lot of people spend most of their time running from themselves.
Exactly. So if you want freedom, if the answer is how do you get from being imprisoned to being free, stop running from yourself.
Be still and know I am God. Be still and know I am God. For any Christian rappers out there, y'all can take that.
Oh my God.
Hey, for real though, be still and know I am God.
Hey.
Be still and know I am God. Yeah, real talk. Hey, that's a hit, for real. Straight up.
All right, baby. Random wisdom. Or you got anything else to say on the topic?
No, I can keep going on and on, but
we could.
But nah. All right, let's wrap this up. Random Wednesday. Random Wednesday. Random wisdom.
Wednesday wisdom. It's technically Wednesday.
And I got a lot of ideas I can pull from. I want to switch it up. You know me, I'm all about mindset. Oh, for those out there, if y'all want to talk one-on-one with your boy, get your mind right, need help with discipline, consistency, and accountability. If you're tired of being feeling like a loser, if you're tired of feeling like a loser and you want to actually be a winner, nah, for real though, hear what I'm saying. If you're tired of feeling like a loser, because a lot of y'all out there feel like a loser. You're your own worst enemy. You the way that you speak to yourself, you wouldn't speak like that to another human being. I'm talking about them people right there. Come and chop it up with your boy so I can get your mind right. Y'all want some heaven on earth? Come and rock with your boy. But random wisdom. I'm gonna just leave it like this. If you say that you can, you're right. If you say that you can't, you're right. Either way, you're right.
All right. So remember to subscribe and like and comment, share. Send this to all of your friends. If this helped you or impact you in any way, drop that down below. Let us know. Talk to us. We love the community. We will have more opportunities to talk to us live coming soon. We got a lot of stuff in the works. Just keep rocking with us. And thank you all for being here. Thank y'all for even making it this far into the podcast, man.
Comment. Drop them comments. Let's get it.
All right. And if you have a topic for us to talk about on the podcast, comment that below as well. Thank you.
For sure.
All right. Love you guys. We'll catch y'all next time.
Yes, sir.